let's have a look at a second example of forming and solving equations. So here's our example. Isabel is 14 years old and she was born when her mum was 26. When will her mum be double Isabel's age? Write an equation and solve. Okay, so we want to find any numbers. So I've got a 14 years old, she's got a 26, and we've got a double in there. Okay, so then I need to think, what am I going to do with this information? Well, our first step is to define the variables, or in this case a variable. Okay, so let's look at what we've been asked. We've been asked, when will her mum be double Isabel's age? So we need to know from now, from today, when Isabel is 14 years old, and if I add on some amount of time, that will, at some point, she'll be half her mum's age, or her mum will be double her age. So what I want to do is I want to define how many more years. Okay, so I'm going to say y is equal to the number of years until mum is double Isabel's age. Okay, so it's saying how many more years from today. So today she's 14, and some number of years, adding on some amount more, she'll get to a stage where her mum will be double her age. So the next step is to write the equation. So let's think about what we know. We know Isabel is 14 years. If I take that 14 years and I add on some amount y, because that's the extra number of years, if I add that on, that's going to be similar to when her mum's double. So when she was born, her mum was 26. If Isabella is now 14, we're adding on another 14 years, so that takes us to mum's age at the moment. It's 26 plus 14, so mum at the moment would be 40 years old. So if mum is 40 years old in another y number of years, that number will be double that number. Does that kind of make sense? So we need to write this as an equation. So I've got 14 plus y, which is going to be looking at how old Isabel is at that time when it's double. And we've got Isabel's mum's age, which 26 plus 14, that's 40 years old, plus y. So that's her mum's age in a few years and her age in a few years. And we want to know when is the 40 plus some years going to be double. So if I do 2 times Isabel's age, that will get me the mum's age. And there is our equation. Okay, third step is to solve this equation. So let's take that equation. We've got 2 times y plus 14. Oh, right on it. 14 plus y is equal to 40 plus y. Okay, so I've got some brackets. Let's expand those brackets out. 2 times 14 is 28. Plus 2 times the y is 2y. And that's equal to 40 plus y. Okay, so I've just expanded that brackets. Now I want to get all the y's on the left and all the numbers on the right. So I'm going to leave the 2y on the side, leave the equals, leave the 40. But I'm going to move the y and I'm going to move that y and I'm going to move that 28. So when I move this y across, that's going to become minus y. And when I move that 28 across, it's going to become minus 28. So simplifying that, 2 lots of y take away y leaves me with y. And 40 take away 28 is 12. Okay, Let's now just think about what we've found. Let's go back to our definition. It's the number of years until Mum is double Isabel's age. So remember, at the moment, Isabel is, so jump down to writing the answer as our last step. Isabel at the moment is 14 and her mum at the moment is 40. So what this is saying is if we add another 12 years onto both of those, then that at that point her mum will be double her age. Okay, so Isabel's mum will be double her age when she is 52 years old, as Isabel will be 26 years old. And there's our answer.